Hi guys, I know it's been a long while since I have read this book. I just read the first chapter in the preface, I guess, and I never continued. But I just wanted to read the chapter 2 and see if we can get more covered today. I got the physical copy back, so here we go, let's get started. Chapter 2. Jerry, turn off the light. Holly giggled as she watched her husband undress before her. He danced around the room performing a striptease, slowly unbuttoning his white cotton shirt with his long, slender fingers. He raised his left eyebrow towards Holly and allowed the shirt to slide from his shoulders, caught it in his right hand, and swung it around over his head. Holly giggled again. Turn off the light, what? And miss all this? He grinned cheekily while flexing his muscles. He wasn't a vain man, but had so much to be vain about, thought Holly. His body was strong and perfectly toned. His long legs were muscular from hours spent working out in the gym. At almost 6 foot, he was tall enough to make Holly feel safe when he stood protectively beside her, 5'5". Most of all, she loved that when she hugged him, her head would rest neatly just below his chin, where she could feel his breath lightly blowing her hair and tickling her head. Her heart leaped as he lowered his boxers, caught them on the tip of his toes, and flung them at her where they landed on her head. Well, at least it's darker under here anyway, she laughed. He always managed to make her laugh. When she came home tired and angry after work, he was invariably sympathetic and listened to her complaining. They seldom fought, and when they did, it was over stupid things that amused them after, like who had left the porch light on all day or who had forgotten to set the alarm at night. Jerry finished his striptease and dived into the bed. He snuggled up beside her, tucking his freezing cold feet underneath her legs to warm himself. Ah, Jerry, your feet are like ice cubes. Holly knew that this position meant he had no intention of budging an inch. Jerry, Holly's voice warned. Holly, he mimicked. Didn't you forget something? No, not that I know of, he answered. The light. Ah, yes, the light, he said sleepily and pretended to snore loudly. Jerry, I had to get out of bed and do it last night as I remember. Yeah, but you were just standing right beside the switch a second ago. Yes, just a second ago, he repeated. Holly sighed. She hated having to get back out of bed when she was nice and snug, step onto the cold wooden floor and then fumble around in the darkness on the way back to the bed. She tutted. I can't do it all the time, Ho. Someday I might not be here, and then what will you do? Get my new husband to do it? Holly huffed, trying her best to kick his cold feet away from hers. Ha! I just remember to do it myself before I get into bed. Jerry snorted. Fat chance of that happening, my dear. I'll have to leave a message on the light switch for you before I go, just so you'll remember. How thoughtful of you, but I would rather you just leave me your money. And a note on the immersion, he continued on. Ha ha. And on the milk carton, you're a very funny man, Jerry. Oh, and on the windows, so you don't open them and set the alarm off in the morning. Hey, why don't you just leave me a list of things for me to do in your will if you think I'll be so incompetent without you? Not a bad idea, he laughed. Fine, then I'll turn off the bloody light. Holly grudgingly got out of bed, grimaced as she stepped onto the ice-cold floor and switched off the light. She held out her arms in darkness and slowly began to find her way back into the bed. Hello, Holly, did you get lost? Is there anybody out there? There! Jerry shouted out to the black room. Yes, I'm ouch! She yelped as she stubbed her toe against the bedpost. Shit, fuck, bastard, shit, crap. Jerry snorted and sniggered underneath the duvet. Number 2 on my list. Watch out for the bedpost. Oh, shut up, Jerry, and stop being so morbid. Holly snapped back at him, cradling her poor foot in her hand. Want me to kiss it better? He asked. No, it's okay, Holly replied sadly. If I could just put them here so I can warm. Ah, Jesus Christ, they're freezing, which made her laugh. So that was how the joke about the list came about. It was a silly and simple idea that was soon shared with their closest friends Sharon and John McCarthy. It was John who had approached Holly in the school corridor when they were just 14 and muttered the famous words, "Me mate wants to know if you'll go out with him." After days of endless discussion and emergency meetings with her friends, Holly eventually agreed. Ah, go on, Holly, Sharon had urged. He's such a ride, and at least he doesn't have spots all over his face like John. How Holly envied Sharon right now. Sharon and John had married the same year as Holly and Jerry. Holly was the baby of the bunch at 23. The others were 24. She said she was too young and lectured her about how, at her age, she should be traveling the world and enjoying herself. Instead, Jerry and Holly traveled the world together. It made far more sense that way because when they weren't together, well, Holly just felt as though she was missing a vital organ from her body. Her wedding day was far from the best day of her life. Like most little girls, she had dreamed of a fairy tale wedding with a princess dress in beautiful sunny weather in a romantic location surrounded by all who were dear and near to her. She imagined the reception would be the best night of her life, pictured herself dancing with all of her friends, being admired by everyone and feeling special. The reality was quite different though. She woke up in her family house to screams of, "I can't find my tie," her father, or "My hair looks like shit," her mother. And the best one of all was, "I look like a bloody whale. There's no way I'm this bleeding wedding looking like this. I'll be scarlet. Mom, look at the stare of me. Holly can find Mom, look at the state of me, sorry. Holly can find another bridesmaid because I'm not bleeding going. Oi, Jack, give me back that freaking hairdryer. I'm not finished." That unforgettable statement was made by her younger sister Kiara, who very regularly threw tantrums and refused to leave the house on the basis of having nothing to wear, regardless of her bursting wardrobe. She was currently living somewhere in Australia with strangers, and the only communication the family had with her was an email from her every few weeks. Holly's family spent the rest of the morning trying to convince Kiara how she was the most beautiful woman in the world. All the while, Holly silently dressed herself, feeling like shit. Kiara eventually agreed to leave the house when Holly's usually calm dad screamed at the top of his voice, and to everyone's amazement, "Kiara, this is Holly's bloody day, not yours, and you will go to the wedding and enjoy yourself. And when Holly walks downstairs, you will tell her how beautiful she looks, and I don't want to hear a peep out of you for the rest of the day." So when Holly walked downstairs, everyone oohed and ahed, while Kiara, looking like a 10-year-old who had just been spanked, tearfully gazed at her with a trembling lip and said, "You look beautiful, Holly." All 7 of them squashed into the limo, Holly, her parents, 3 brothers, and Kiara, and sat in terrified silence all the way to the church.